I'm Joel Kath, founder, distiller of Proof Artisan Distillers here in Fargo, North Dakota. So we're here to talk about distilling. Everybody's been to breweries. Beer starts with malted barley. You make malted barley hot water, it makes a sugar water, you add yeast to that sugar water, yeast, seed sugar, and make alcohol. So we start by making a beer in our brewery side of the house, and then we take that beer and load it into here and boil off the alcohol. Distilling is boiling off the alcohol, collecting that alcohol and using it for our different products. The vapors will enter the bottom of each of these columns, and the vapors then are forced up and forced back down. There's this bubble cap that sits around a hole in the middle of the plate. There's a lip on the hole, and there will be a layer of essentially alcohol on the top of that plate. The vapors are forced from that bubble cap back down into that liquid where it condenses and then boils off again and goes up to the next plate. So the more plates in play that you have, the more refined the spirit is. And every time that it goes through a plate, the alcohol vapors increase in concentration. So the more plates in play, the higher proof you get to distill at. So, and a proof is twice what the alcohol percentage is. For our whiskey column, for the short stack over there, we want to distill at a lower proof. We have very few plates in play. In fact, those are operable. We can take those out of play and run it straight through. For the vodka, we want all of the plates in play of the tall stack in order to get up and hit that 190 proof. Vodka comes from 192 proof. We distill up to that. We need the tall column. The short column is for whiskey, and the tall column is for vodka. We distill at different proofs depending on what type of character of the spirit that we want. With the vodka, we're going for neutral, so we go as high a proof as we can distill to, and then we cut it back with very clear, clean, filtered, non-chlorinated, or reverse osmosis water. For whiskey, we don't want to distill up to that high a proof because we want some flavor of the mother alcohol to stay with it. So we distill in the 130 to 145, 150 range, depending on the product that we're doing, and that leaves a lot of character, if you will, with the spirit. All of the color and most of the flavor comes from the barrel, and that's over time. We get to see the evolution as it changes over its life. People often say, you're talking about it like it's a living being, and it really is, especially when you see what it's like crystal clear from the still as a whiskey is. Very harsh, very what's known as white dog. While itself might be considered a good product, it's really not consumable at this point. You'll notice the color change after only a few months in the barrel. A color change. The whiskey is starting to evolve, starting to mellow, pick up a little color and character, to one that is almost finished. This is almost 2 years old, and it is nearing the end of its life in the barrel where we're going to harvest it and pull it for sale. So our gin starts as a vodka, and then we infuse different aromatics into it. So gin is known as juniper. Many people equate it with pine needles or Christmas tree water or whatever. And that's because most people only know of one style of gin, which is the prevalent in the world, which is a London dry style of gin. We're making a new American style gin, which is more citrus forward. It's still juniper, but there is more citrus, and there's other multiple notes that are going into it. And these new American style gins make great cocktails. Very complex in flavor, very complex in components and ingredients. We start by putting vodka into the gin still. We bring the still up to a boil, and then the vapors come off and go through a basket that contains the aromatics. So this is really a potpourri of ingredients, of juniper berries and lemongrass and cardamom and coriander, 21 different ingredients, a lot of citrus, orange peel, dried and fresh. Alcohol is a very good solvent. The vapors here grab the flavors out of the ingredients instantly. It continues on, condenses out, and is instantly gin. The gratification is instantaneous. We get to know exactly what it's going to be like as it comes out, because we're always monitoring by taste. Yet, when we're tasting, we're not consuming. When I talk about tasting, the traditional way of doing a tasting as it's coming out of the still is you smell, you take a clean washed hand, swipe your pinky through the stream as it's coming out of the still, and then you actually want it to evaporate off. We know there's alcohol there, we just want to get the flavor. The traditional way is you wipe it on the back of your clean hand, smell, and taste. That's all that we need to sensory analysis of how good the product is. We want it to taste good. We want it to be perfect, and we don't settle for anything less.